In today's video, I'm gonna be back in realistic car driving with the M2, and I'll be taking on the track to see how well this thing handles. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. Let's launch this thing in 3, 2, 1, blast off. Not bad, it seems like we're struggling for traction there, but this thing is rear-wheel drive, so I'm very interested to see how this thing does, because I did tune it up as I always do. But this, I don't know, it's not the first rear-wheel drive I'm gonna take on the track. The M4 was the first, but it did super well. Hopefully this thing does super well too. Hopefully I don't see any major oversteer. As long as we don't try to gas it into a turn or full gas on a turn, we should be good. So far, I'm seeing a little oversteer, especially right there, but it's doing okay. We just gotta be very careful with the throttle, because I feel like this thing can handle super well, but if we're trying to like go as fast as possible, then it's gonna be very bad for us. There's like a very specific limit with this car, specifically. In the M8, I could have took some of those turns a lot faster because it was all-wheel drive, but this, you gotta be very careful. Try not to push it over its limit, of course. As long as we don't do that, I feel like it should handle well, which is handling pretty well so far. So far, it's taking the turns okay. Not seeing any major challenge. Or, I mean, it tried to fight me there, but still not seeing any major challenge. Rather than like, oh my god, this thing is very crazy, it's gonna kill me. As long as I say, as long as we don't try to go too fast into a turn. That's the only thing I'm concerned about right now. Just floor it into a turn and just start power sliding. I don't want that to happen. I'm trying to keep it straight as possible through the turns. Even if you do get a little oversteer, I mean, it's not, it's a little fun. I'm not too worried about the oversteer, I'm just worried about crashing. But so far it's doing okay. But this track is very brutal, the rear-wheel drive cars, I'm gonna be honest. Some of the turns are very brutal if you're not careful. So far it's doing pretty well. I like what I'm seeing so far. It's not as fast as some of the other cars that I've taken, but it's doing alright. This bit is pretty easy. You can go full send until you like reach the end of this bit, then you're gonna start slowing down a little. Little brake here. There we go. Brake here and there, little gas. Brake here. Oversteer, that's okay. As I said, I'm expecting a little oversteer every now and then, but as long as we don't give it too much gas, it shouldn't be really that much of an issue. I mean, it's a rear-wheel drive and it has a lot of power. Of course, it's gonna oversteer at that time. Just gotta know how much you want it to or how much it's gonna oversteer. Because if it oversteers with too much angle, we can't catch it back. That's it for us. But so far it's doing okay. Hearing a little tire screech every now and then, which is kind of odd because usually I feel like I would hear a lot more tire screeching. This car is I feel like it's very timid. Like I have to keep turning it by tapping it. I don't want to hold it. Yeah, this thing is definitely crazy. I like the way it's handling so far though. It's handling a lot better than I thought it would. I thought it was gonna have a lot more oversteer. I nearly had some unexpected oversteer right there, straight into the barrier. I feel like if this track had any like bumps, we would be having some major issue. Because I remember in one of my videos we were taking this thing, I was testing the handling on the other map, the smaller track, and I hit a bump and I went straight into the wall. Hopefully that does not repeat. It was this specific car. If you saw that video, you probably know what I'm talking about. But I'm not trying to repeat that any at all. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen in a while. So far, I like how this thing is handling. Despite the few little oversteers, it's doing alright. Whoa, feel like I have some slip there. I don't want to go too crazy here because I feel like this thing is very light as well. I'm very concerned about the downforce at times, especially if we're going uphill and we come off the gas too fast or jam the brakes. I feel like we could lose it. Okay, there we go. We kind of made it a bit past the tricky part. Brake here. There you go. Not bad, not bad. This thing is doing alright. I like it a lot. For a rear-wheel drive car, it's doing alright. Oh. You can... That's the first time I'm seeing a car oversteered here since I've been driving on this map. I thought that it was always safe. You could go as fast as you want. You could floor it once the tires are in the little patch there, little ditch. Surprised it oversteered on me there a bit. But as I said, so far this thing is doing alright. I'm gonna try to floor it in the other bit and see if it does the same. I'm not gonna go like full send where I'm trying to spin it out, but I'm just gonna see. Because I didn't think cars could oversteer. I know you could definitely turn into the grass, that I didn't know it would oversteer there. I always thought it was under the safe spot. Now to think of this thing is a nice track car. If we turn traction off, we could be having some serious fun, but I'm not gonna do that right now. But this thing could definitely be a nice little track car. Especially one out some slides and stuff like that. Because it definitely is sliding. Even though it's not sliding right now, it's definitely sliding. If we floor it into a turn hard enough, we're gonna lose the traction. But as I said, I'm not trying that right now. And it's doing well so far. Careful of it depends on the car, but I hate those bits that makes the car jump or you lose like contact with the road for a bit. Oh my gosh, I feel like the car almost wanted to lose itself there. Now I feel like I could definitely be going into some of these turns faster, but as I said, I don't want to like floor it and just get a crazy amount of oversteer and lose it. Let's see if we can floor it here. Yeah, we could, but we kind of went over where we wanted to go. Kind of came a bit off the apex, but that's okay. Yeah, but as I said, this thing handles super well. Considering the fact that it's rear-wheel drive, even though we did see some oversteer, I feel like we could have gone a little faster in some of those turns, but I'm not gonna push it. I just want to see how well it could handle, and it did handle super well. It took most of the turns okay, so I didn't really see any major issue. Despite the little oversteers, that's normal. I mean, it's expected, as I said before. Do the brake test. Okay, that did not go as planned. Let's just act like that did not happen. I thought the car was gonna start getting wobbly like it did with the M8, but it didn't for some reason. After we managed to drive so well, we managed to crash at the end of a little barrier. Oh my gosh. This car, I swear, I make the most memories with the M2. But now I'm gonna show you guys the setup real quick. So for the alignment, this is how I have it. Everything here is the front. I feel like we need to be focused more on the rear because this thing is rear-wheel drive, so I don't feel like well, I mean, the front does have a little effect, but I feel like the rear has the most effect. Oh my god, I still can't believe I smacked it at the end. Because I've been driving so well. Okay, this is the rear stiffness, front damping, rear damping, height offset for the rear, wheel offset. I don't really think the wheel offset did much. I just like them when they're showing a bit, that's why I put them there. But if you don't really want to move it, you don't have to move it. And for the differential, this is how I have it. And for the steering, this is how I have it. Now I recommend you getting the race tires as well and getting some good brakes, because those are definitely gonna help. But this thing handled super well. As I said, I didn't really see any major issue. We only had a little oversteer, didn't really have any major wrecks, so that's definitely good, except for the end. But as I said, that didn't happen. But if you guys want to like do my setup, you can, or you can like change it to your liking and test it out. I think this game, the whole point of the update is just to really experiment to see how well you like it or how well it handles in your turns. For me, I like this. I don't think I want to change this. Despite the oversteer, I feel like I can turn this thing into a little fun slidey car if I turn the traction off. Hopefully I don't flip it. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you found it helpful.